and the churches won't wake up.
Right.
You know, they're all sleeping.
Yeah. You know, and it seems to me it's all about one thing. It's the abortion issue. As long as the Republicans bring up the issue of abortion, the good Christians are going to vote for those pro-life people. You know what I'm saying? He uses that as his trump card, you know, to get a Christian vote. You know?
Yeah. Well, I'm for one. I'm relieved. I'm just glad that maybe this whole timetable is pushed off.
Okay. So I would send. Okay, I'm gonna send you his address and his phone number in an email. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and do that. Okay. And I'll try to get him on the show because I've had conversation with Bill Deagle, and and so many things that he was saying, I'd never heard anybody else say, and because people always think I'm off the wall when I come up with this stuff, and when you hear people confirm the same things that you've been seeing or saying, and people you've never even heard of, it's interesting. A lot of people saying the same stuff.
Yes.
And so I'd like to get these guys on the show, and definitely bring him on. Let him talk about it. Let him explain his own book, because all we can do is try to go through it and make sense of what we're seeing.
Exactly. You're right. Okay. Hey, God bless you.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in.
Okay.
Hey, God bless.
Thank you.
Listener caller line, folks, 260-356-2611. And kind of backtracking a little bit and talking about today, September 19th. Had talked about it last week. Chuck Youngbrand prophesying that during the same year that New Orleans would be destroyed by a hurricane, that St. Louis would be hit by an earthquake. And I heard from Lisa out in St. Louis today. She said everything was fine out there. Told her to let me know if anything happened, and I haven't heard from her, so I guess everything's fine. Sometimes I'm the last person to hear of a news event. I don't watch the television news, and I really think you're going to get it quicker and faster and more accurate just on the internet as it is. So back to what I've been writing about this week on my blogger. Go back to this what's it called? Plum Island. It's off of New York. And this is an island that I doubt you can get a boat and just go to. It's probably one of these islands. I heard about one of these before back when I was doing research on underground bases, and they surround these places because there's other islands that the government is on that owns and controls and has bases on them. Kind of reminds you of a Jekyll and Hyde type thing where they put them out on islands, and they're surrounded by soldiers that are camouflaged with, they look like bushes and trees. And if you even try to get near them, those black ops soldiers will be on you in a heartbeat. And a lot of them will just shoot first and ask questions later. They want to mess with these types of islands. And so I know they exist. I'm not sure if Plum Island is this type of island. But they've got a base out there that they're doing a lot of experiments on, experimental things. And of course, we've talked about these super soldiers. And nobody portrays it better than Arnold Schwarzenegger. Nobody portrays it better than him. And he's pretty much given us a heads up on a lot of things through his movies. If you pay attention to his movies, there was the one Predator, that thing that fall down in the trees, and it would kind of cloak, become invisible, and then you would slowly see it materialize into a thing, a monster, or whatever it was, the Predator thing it was. And this was actually, someone had sent me an email a couple of years ago about this, that it was, that whole suit actually existed, and that it was on loan from our government to the Hollywood studio so that they could do this effect, so that whole Predator movie, because they actually have these invisible technologies that they can disappear in. It gives you the illusion that you're not seeing anything, that they're invisible. And so this kind of a suit actually existed at the time. And so he's been conditioning the public in a lot of his movies, and I get a lot of emails from people wanting to know if he's the Antichrist. And I can't even begin to imagine trying to transliterate his name into Hebrew for a Bible code. That would be something else. I really don't think he is. I think he's a distraction. He's supposed to go in and do what he's supposed to do in California. One of the main things being collecting guns, confiscating their guns. You know, you got the big Terminator guy coming in. I will protect you. And meanwhile, I'll take all your guns. And, you know, I'd always heard that was one of his main agenda things he was supposed to do out there is confiscate everybody's guns. So keep your eyes on that because I haven't seen that that's happened yet or has even been talked about. And so, but I know it's on the agenda. It's on the to-do list. So watch out for that. Glad that guy called in. I want to clear that up about Chuck Youngbrand's prophecy today. And I really am glad that St. Louis is still standing, obviously, because I have a lot of friends out there. I know a lot of people out there. And another thing being is that if he's wrong on that he could be wrong on this December, 4 American cities being nuked, which I have seen, so it doesn't matter. It's not actually an if, it's a when. Because maybe not those particular cities I've seen, but I've seen nukings, and this whole thing about Russia's excuse that it's an accident happening from different sources. And so when Chuck said the same thing, it was quite interesting. So maybe we do have time. Either way, still have plenty of the Lord's leading this week to stock up. Spend the next 6 months stocking up. And so that's what I've been doing, leading his people, encouraging people to stock up. And, of course, some of you are just way ahead of me on this one. I mean, some of you are already stocked up 3 and 5 years. I mean, you guys have been on the ball all along, and you're just way ahead, and you're ready. And that's good. And so now you can just cheer the rest of us on, get the rest of us stocked up. And a lot of confirmations on that, because a lot of people, his people out in the wildernesses, out in the byways and highways, and not involved with the mainstream society, who had been told the same thing, to start stocking up. And so I was sent an email by somebody about that, who had known believers already stocking up. Lord had already been leading them to stock up. And so very interesting. And I sent something out about using electric space heaters instead of turning your gas on. It's an option. Something to think about, because if you're like me and your home is heated by gas, if last year wasn't bad enough, this year will kill you with the high fuel costs. And so I spent a whole day, just felt led to start researching these electric space heaters. And this could just be my area. Your area may be totally fine. But there could be a lot of problems this winter with the fact that no fuel shortages are too high to even afford. Or even the fact that electricity going out is another thing. And so those are areas I was hit with. And what I found was that these electric space heaters, you can also use them for generators. Of course, if there's no fuel, which I don't think we're going to have a problem this winter with fuel, maybe next winter. Not seeing one this winter, other than just being high-priced. But you can always use these space heaters with a backup generator, whether it's run by propane or fuel or whatever. So it's a lot cheaper, especially if you're running on gas. Just keep your gas off and plug in electric space heaters throughout your home. Because you're thinking it's going to drain your electric bill. Well, it's still cheaper running it off of your draining your electric bill, than using your gas. You know,